Following 5 pay raises in a row, North Carolina's average teacher pay is just shy of $54,000 a year, climbing to 29th in the nation, according to the NEA, the National Teachers Union. But there could be more pay raises on the way if Governor Roy Cooper's budget proposal gains traction with the legislature. Dr. Terry Stoops is the John Locke Foundation's Vice President for Research, also the Director of Education Studies, and he joins me now to talk about what is ahead. Terry, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
This teacher pay figure, the NEA does this listing every year, and it looks like they say that North Carolina is climbing. They put us at 29th.
That's right, and that's an improvement over last year where we were 34th and the year before, which we were 38th. So we're seeing steady increases in our ranking on the NEA report. That's mainly due to the 5 consecutive pay increases that the General Assembly has approved. A significant increase in teacher salary over the last 5 or 6 years due to those pay increases is going to catapult us even further up the ranking that the NEA produces every year.
Now, that does not include the benefits that a teacher makes. We're just talking strictly salary here.
Yeah, that's really important because when you look at the benefit packages that teachers receive, which includes health care, retirement benefits, and Social Security payments made on their behalf, we're looking at around $18,000 worth of benefits. Those aren't included, and mainly the NEA rightfully points out that it's hard to compare these sorts of things. It's hard to even get data on the comparative benefits that states and school districts provide to their teachers. So they stick with the salary figure, and that's what they report here. It's also worth noting that when we look at these sorts of rankings, that they're not adjusted for cost of living. So we're just looking at what states report to the NEA their average salary to be for their teachers, not inclusive of benefits or adjusted for cost of living.
And in fact, common sense just tells you, for example, if anyone has ever moved from one state to another, a dollar in one state doesn't translate to necessarily to a dollar in another state. And that's why that cost of living adjustment is so important, to get a sense of how much your dollar buys there.
Just ask any teacher in Hawaii if they're paid
Right.
enough, which has, of course, one of the highest cost of livings in the nation.
Try buying milk there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, if you adjusted their teacher pay for cost of living, they're right at the bottom, even though it looks on the surface that they get paid a significant amount when you look at how much it costs to live in a state like Hawaii, or, you know, in other states that have significant cost of living. New York is a good example. That dollar doesn't go very far. It does in North Carolina, but not in some of these other states.
Terry, all of this is going to receive a lot of discussion over the next few weeks as state lawmakers and Governor Cooper essentially try to put together the budget for the next fiscal year that begins in July. Now, the governor's budget proposal has a large component dedicated to education, specifically K-12 education. He wants more teacher pay raises. It seems there are a number of Republicans who would like to do the same.
Absolutely. Well, Governor Cooper has proposed a 9.1% teacher pay increase over 2 years. That would be doled out in 4.5% one year, 4.6% in another year. And for him, that is a large enough increase to get us to that national average as calculated by the NEA report. Republicans on their side also want a pay increase. You may recall that they promised to get the average teacher salary up to $55,000 by the year 2020. In order to do that, they have to increase teacher salaries this year. Now, increasing teacher salaries is an expensive proposition. It's $64 million to increase teacher salaries by 1 percentage point. So in order to get where we need, where the legislature wants to get the teacher salary, it's going to be a significant investment. And they're going to have to find money in what is going to be a tight budget year in order to fulfill that promise. Otherwise, there may be consequences in the 2020 election.
Terry, there's always been a lot of discussion, at least the past couple of years, from those who believe that highly experienced teachers or those with advanced formal education, that they are not being compensated like they should be. So tell us a little bit about that. And is there any research that tells us, for example, if a teacher has an advanced degree, that translates into higher achievement for their students?
Sure. The bulk of education research tells us that the master's degree usually doesn't translate into higher student achievement. We have decades of research that confirm this, and only a few research studies out of the hundreds done have ever said that having a master's degree, specifically a master's degree in education, translates into higher student achievement. And so based on that fact, the General Assembly 5 years ago decided to eliminate the amount of money given to teachers for a master's degree, the master's degree supplement for all new teachers coming into the system. All of those that had a master's degree up to that point were grandfathered in, as well as teachers who needed a master's degree for their job were also included in that pay supplement. There's a strong movement right now to raise the teacher salary supplement to include all teachers that have a master's degree, or an alternative plan to just give a master's degree supplement to those who have a master's degree in the subject area. So if you're a math teacher, you have a master's degree in math, you would get the supplement. The research is a bit mixed on that. It would be a much better investment, frankly, if we had more teachers go into national board certification or some other way of getting a supplement for advanced training rather than a master's degree. But it looks like there's bipartisan effort to get the master's degree pay restored. Governor Cooper certainly wants it, as well as some Republicans in the House.
Terry, let's talk more about a key component of the governor's budget proposal, which is receiving a lot of pushback, including from you and the John Locke Foundation, because this involves a closing of the door that the governor wants to see on the Opportunity Scholarship Program, and that is a scholarship program for low-income families, for parents to be able to take their child, if they qualify for the program, take a voucher and put their child into a private school that they think will be better for their child. The governor does not want this to continue.
Frankly, it's both predictable and appalling that he would do this to low-income families that simply want something better for their children. The Opportunity Scholarship Program provides $4,200 a year scholarships to very low-income families. The average income of the Opportunity Scholarship families is around $17,000 a year. And so what he does is he says anyone that's in the Opportunity Scholarship Program right now can stay in. Nobody else gets to have access to these scholarships, even though there's tremendous demand for them. And furthermore, if you drop out of the Opportunity Scholarship Program, that doesn't free up a slot. That just means that that's one less scholarship that's available. Honestly, it's a slap in the face to these low-income families that are simply seeking a private school education for their children for any number of reasons. It could be academic concerns. It could be the safety of their children, which is it's a pretty prominent reason why people are choosing Opportunity Scholarship, because they fear for the safety of their child, or any number of other reasons that they have cited in surveys and research. Honestly, Governor Cooper should be ashamed of himself for making this move. And honestly, I think that in the end, we won't see any sort of shutting the door on this program because legislative Republicans won't stand for it.